Yo guys, a little bit of a shorter one today. I'll be covering 4 flowers, some of them which I don't know the actual species of, um, that are helpful for region guessing and identifying certain countries or regions. Um, was a little bit shorter than I expected because one of the locations that I use actually got overwritten by new coverage, so that plant meta isn't actually even helpful anymore. But I also turned down the music. That's another thing, because a lot of you were complaining about how it was a bit too loud. Which, yeah, I have hearing issues, so I can't really hear that too well. But hopefully it's better this time. Enjoy the video. Alright, so we are loaded here into a South Africa round. As we can tell, the sun is north. And it's small cam as well. I have my no car script on right now because I do play with no car, but we can tell it's a small cam blur here. And the most important thing is recognizing that this is small cam, as well as we have tons of long grass everywhere, and most importantly we have these white and sort of like light magenta to pinkish sort of flowers spammed everywhere within this tall grass. It'll usually look like this. Sometimes there's a little less of them, sometimes it's just everywhere in the round. But most of the time they will look something like this. And so when you have these flowers kind of spammed all over the round in a South African small cam location, very likely you're going to be in the eastern part of Free State / I think you can get some over the border in KwaZulu-Natal. By far the most common, like 99%, is around this kind of area. Again, I'll put up a picture of the distribution that I mapped. But I've also seen some exceptions, like in Mpumalanga. I've also seen it in Mpumalanga when it's not small cam, so that might also be a meta for that. And I've also seen it in Gauteng and maybe sometimes in Northwest as well, but very much an Eastern Free State / Northwestern KwaZulu-Natal, kind of this area sort of meta. So when you have these flowers, you should just click here and it'll be a good guess. Alright, so here we know very quickly that's just kind of like random Scots Pine roulette here. We can see that it's 21 copyright, which in Gen 4 obviously is very common in Russia. This landscape also makes a lot of sense for Russia. Maybe not the best example of a location because this is, to me, a fairly free Buryatia, but sometimes, especially when you don't see elevation like this, Gen 4 Buryatia random pine spam can be a little bit trickier than usual. So one way to not have that 50-50 is if you look at the ground and you have purple flowers like this. They kind of look like daisies, but instead of being white petals, they're kind of like a light purple like this. Yeah, just kind of small flowers on the side of the road. And this is called the alpine aster. Very common in the Alps, as its name suggests. But within Russia, it's also very common around Lake Baikal, which is... There happens to be a lot of Gen 4 around here. So when you do have this kind of Scots Pine random forest looking around, you're not sure if it's sort of more west or if it's this coverage here. Just to make sure 100% if you're in Buryatia, you could just look down, and if you have these flowers, you can pretty safely send Buryatia. Boom. Our fourth round here isn't a specific flower meta, but just sort of flowers in general. So we do have the European black tab here. So we know we're going to be in Europe, with the sun being south, so it's not South Africa, obviously. Maybe a little trickier to identify the country at first glance here, but essentially the meta is the spring coverage that is north of Huelva, which is the city in Andalusia here. These hills have this very distinct coverage where you've just got eucalyptus everywhere. Maybe not the most visible in this location. Yeah, but we've got like brownish hills, and we've got kind of flowers covering everywhere. Lots of white flowers, lots of smaller yellow ones as well. We've got some oak trees as well. But yeah, that combination of eucalyptus trees and lots of flowers everywhere, and a general Mediterranean vibe with maybe some browner hills in the distance, and tons of oak trees is very, very good for the north of Huelva area. I'll put a couple pictures up as well just to show you guys what else it could look like, because this kind of landscape is a little bit hard to describe just by trying to articulate it in words, so I will kind of show with pictures a little bit easier. But yeah, this area is quite recognizable in my opinion, and lots of pretty flowers in this area to look at, like these ones. And our last one here is maybe a little bit more of a general one. I feel like a lot of people already know this one. This one comes up quite a lot, and it's the Tsavo white flowers. I like to call them dandruff flowers because, as you can see, they kind of look like dandruffs, the way they just sort of cover literally like every single type of foliage that we have in this round. We do have the Kenya truck here. General landscape also quite Kenya. We've got very red soil with standalone rocky mountains or hills in the distance. When you have that landscape with a truck, and we've got white flowers everywhere, literally just unmissable, literally like dandruffs. I think they're some sort of morning glories or something, I'm not too sure, but yeah, very common around, I would say, from Tsavo up to like Makueni, maybe a little bit in Katui as well, but very common in this kind of area. Yeah, literally you can't miss it when you have it. Just spam of white flower all over the landscape, and again, very common around the city of Tsavo. And on the main road as well. You get a lot around the main road.
Yo, guys, be sure to subscribe to my boy Gowan if you want his feed pics.
Alright, bro.
Yo, put it in the video, bro.